何もない宇宙で精一杯泳いでよ。奇跡を信じて星がある。これから進むべき道を探して作ろう。僕たちだけのミステリー。
Morning. Alright, let's go. If you'll excuse me, I shall return to my work on the talisman. Ah, you're both back. Excellent. I have a message for you, Mistress Nidhana. It would seem the stores of Giant Skull are running low. When I last looked, there was still plenty. I suspect it was before Urianger told everyone about the tempering cure, and Estinian shared his knowledge of dragons. Your peers have since been inspired to fashion a number of new talisman prototypes. I see. Well, if it leads to new possibilities, then far be it from me to complain, but we will need to replenish our stores. I should be happy to tend to this if you like. As much as I appreciate the offer, my dear boy, I can't in good conscience send you out there with while kidnappers are at large. Loath though I am to press another task on you so soon, might I ask you to fetch Giant Skull? location not familiar. It's a type of ore found on the island. Owing to its hardness and ethereal conductivity, it has applications for many disciplines, alchemy not least of all. The quarry is found in the aptly named Giant Skull grounds. It isn't far away, so it shouldn't take much of your time. May we impose on you once more? Thank you. Upon arriving at the grounds, please seek out a man named Zainua. He'll furnish you with the ore. At the very least, permit me to accompany you. It so happens that I have an errand of my own to take me to the outpost nearby. Maybe borrow a pair of Hamza? Guardian of Arashin? Magic the Gathering card, Mistress Nidhana? By all means, do try and be patient with them. Those that survived are still in training. I'll bring the Hamza to the entrance. Meet me there when you're ready. Oh, there's little birds. I thought they'd be elephants. It's because they are close kin to your Eorzean dodos. Hamza Blum kept his livestock in Thavnir, and many a hatchery may be found here. Alas, the largest of these were recently raised by monsters from the tower. On account of said hatchery being situated near the tower, the Radiant Host repurposed its remnants as an outpost. That's where my errand takes me, but, and your own destination is but a stone's throw away. If you have no objections, let us first make for the outpost. We'll set forth at your word. You need only ride and relax. My bird will take the lead, and yours to follow. Mount? Oh, wait. So, wait. Oh! I was like, these aren't mounts. And they have a wobbling gait. I was like, they don't look big enough to mount. I thought we were just taking them with us. A speculative formation stretching over the waters called Kogda, meaning a thing. The sword legend holds was wielded by Menusa before Murga was cast down at conflict's end. Left you see require no introduction to the tower. As you can see, it straddles a small isle. Almost there. The main part of the hatchery is atop the cliff. The outpost itself is on the beach. My coat makes this look weird. I feel like we shouldn't be able to get this close without being tempered. This feels very close to the tower. Here we are, manned by the Radiant Host's outpost is our first line of defense against the tower. Well, who should it be but young Varshan on an errand for the satrap? I am. His Excellency bade me to come collect your report. He also wished to express his heartfelt gratitude to the brave men and women of the Radiant Host for their unflagging dedication. We simply do our duty, but we are honored to receive His Excellency's regard. And yet, for his boundless benevolence, his treatment of one so young could be regarded as callous. Though we have enjoyed relative peace and calm these past few days, this remains the front line of battle, no place for children. Your predecessor often too traveled alone. It's been, what, 2 years now since you took over? I wonder how that fellow is faring. Like those before him, he went on to represent the satrap in foreign lands. Wherever he may be now, I am certain he is well. As for myself, I do all that I assure you all that I do of my own volition. And gladly. I pray that you do not think ill of His Excellency. Certainly not, lad. Whatever happens, my faith in the satrap is unwavering, but I still worry for you. We would be overcome with sadness if something were to befall you. You are as a little brother to us all. Take care, do you hear? I will, Nabdeen. Thank you. Nabdeen? Nabdeen, yeah. Who might this be? Not Hanish by the looks of him. Permit me to introduce Missing Novice of the Eorzea contingent, come to assist me in making the talisman. From Eorzea, you say? The towers have appeared over there too, yes? Tell me, what's the situation like? May I suggest you exchange some information with our soldiers? Both parties would stand to learn something of value, I believe. An excellent idea. Given the unprecedented nature of the threat, some of ours are understandably anxious. We would be glad for any tidings you can share. You two bring Marshawn the latest report and answer any questions he may have. Appears quiet with the tower at the moment. I dare say the soldiers won't mind if you approach them. I've heard about you, the visitor from Eorzea. Is there anything you could tell us about the Telophoroi? We know they're the ones behind the tower, and they've declared war on the whole world. But why are they doing this? What is it they want? This we don't understand. They want to die and take everyone with them? What madness is this? Well, you can bet we won't let those bastards have their way. We'll fight them with everything we have, like our Eorzean and Far Eastern brothers. You should know about the tower? To be honest, we know little and less about it ourselves. This Tower of Zod, as folks have taken to calling it, suddenly appeared where it did on the Isle of Norunair. We're safe from its influence at this distance, but go too far into the water and you'll expose yourself to its corrupting ether. You're a foreigner, aren't you? How are they dealing with the tower in your homeland? Our struggles are not unique, and our hope still lies with the talismans. We must keep the monsters contained until they're ready. Carbuncle! Oh, yeah, I thought you were an NPC, and there was just a carbuncle here, but no, you are a player, that's Midgard Somer. Okay. Curse me, I've yet to properly introduce our company. We are the Radiant Host, a military order under the Satrap's command. Our duty is to preserve peace in the land, be it patrolling the streets or dealing with heretofore unknown threats such as now. We train hard and admit only capable warriors to our ranks. Even so, we struggled to contend with the fiends from the tower. Though we succeeded in striking them down on 2 occasions, they came in force when we had paid a heavy price. Where are the towers of Eorzea? Do they likewise spawn monsters? It's much the same everywhere. With every nation struggling, we cannot expect calls for outside aid to be answered. Finished speaking with the soldiers, have you? I hope it was enlightening for you as it was for them. As a neutral nation and trading hub both, Razat Han ordinarily receives a steady stream of news from abroad. Alas, the stream died up when trading vessels stopped coming. Amidst the dearth of information, everyone will have been grateful for your account. But come, you have best to see to your original errand, as mine will keep me here a while longer, however. I'm afraid I cannot guide you the rest of the way. Worry not, the path is straightforward. You need but follow the road east. Upon Hamza, you will arrive before you know it. Brief though it was, I enjoyed our time together. Till we meet again. Should be separated from your steed to the raiding host. Yeah. This is indeed the Giant Skull grounds. I am Zenuhut. Is there something you require? Giant Skull for the alchemist, you say? Of course I shall have it. They labor tirelessly to deal with the tower, and 'tis the least we can do to provide them with the materials they need. Here you are, a sack of the purest Giant Skull. We always set some aside for our alchemist friends. When you deliver it, let the good folk of the great work know that we're grateful for their efforts. If they need more, they need but ask. I kind of want to go attune to this Aetheryte. Control click? There we go. I always forget how to do the thing. Take a little detour. That's when we need to cross the bridge. The city is currently in a state of alert. I cannot let you proceed past this point. Okay. Is there a way down? You know, at this point, we're gonna be further away from it anyway, so. Dare I help you have the Giant Skull? Such fine specimens. Thank you for bringing these. We now have everything we need to make our next prototype, one that should be capable of passing our most rigorous tests. When it's ready, the time will be for the true tests, so please take your ease while you can.
I see our taskmasters have allowed you a moment's respite as well. You have to hand it to these alchemists. They are determined to see this endeavor of theirs succeed. I've never been one for blind optimism, but I sincerely get the sense they're close to a breakthrough.
They had better be, or all this effort was for naught.
The peoples of Eorzea, of the Far East, of Thavner, children of this star united in common cause against a dire threat. Yet ere they succumbed to suicidal madness, were not the Telophoroi born of her body as were we? They who cling to life and the promise of the morrow's dawn, against they who desire death and an ending of their own orchestration. The victors of this war alone will hold the right to answer the question of existence. of its meaning and its worth.
Poetic and ominous to a fault. That said, if it's an existential debate in nature, then our arguments might not be as persuasive as you'd think. Fandaniel wants to die and take everyone with him in an orgy of pain and suffering. An utterly vile and unforgivable idea. And yet, when spat upon by fate and wailing in the deepest pit of despair, who among us can say they have not entertained similar thoughts? There are nights black as pitch, bereft of hope, and no words of comfort can reach you. And it's all you can do to grit your teeth and choke back the bile.
The more you see and suffer life's injustices, the more difficult they become to bear. Vengeance is nurtured in similar soil. Though your anger has a broader focus, the sentiment is much the same. A fervent desire to destroy others, to see them drown in torment, as you have.
That about sums it up. The will to endure is not always as strong as the urge to burn it all down and salt the earth. Survival be damned. It's a struggle, often close and brutal.
Indeed. Well, I, for one, shall pray survival proveth more appealing in the end.
As will I. Besides, our chances are much improved when we've the company of others committed to the cause of life. Our vengeful dragoon here is proof of that.
Danny boy!
What is it? What did you see? Fandaniel, are you sure? If he knows we've been working on a countermeasure.
It holds. The vessel holds! This is the one!
At long last! Look! We have finally created a talisman strong enough to withstand our experiments! We've named it a warding scale for the time being. With this in your possession, your soul should be completely shielded from corruptive ether.
Afforded such protection, any one of us may approach the towers without fear. Thou hast mine admiration. 'Tis an invention of historical significance.
I thank you for your kind words. But I would prefer you keep them unsaid until we test the talisman's efficacy in the field. It is for the next stage of our plan that we summoned you in the first place, to accompany me to the Tower of Zot. Should the scale prove effective, as I very much hope it will, then you'll have little to do. But should the effect be weaker than anticipated, I must ask that you restrain me, or knock me senseless.
Hope it doesn't come to that.
Either way, we are fortunate to have you with us.
Nidana, are you certain you wish to do this?
If others are to trust our creations, then we must have faith in them first. And as the senior researcher, it falls to me to lead by example. But should I fail to return, then learn what you can from this attempt and apply it to the next. Our work must continue. Is that clear?
We'll keep an eye on the place while you're away. Assuming Fandaniel is lurking about, there's no telling what mischief he has in mind for us, or you. Be on your guard.
Shall we be on our way? I'll have one of the soldiers at the hatchery prepare us a boat, and we can set out from the northern shore. I'll see you there.
Sawtop has granted you the use of his boat. May it serve you well. It's a rather finer boat than I had expected, but I won't complain. All that remains to board and be on our way, and if I should become corrupted, do not stay your hand. Of course, I pray that it does not come to that, but you must protect yourself. Other alchemists can fulfill my role, but you and your blessing are one of a kind, and perhaps our only hope at toppling this tower. For our sakes, do not hesitate to do what must be done, whatever that may be. The longer I draw this out, the more nervous I become. Let's be off.
We should soon cross the threshold of the tower's influence. Any moment now. It's working! And you are still yourself? Then I'd like to see how it fares closer to the tower if we could. So far, so good. The scale's protection appears to be holding. If we can just make it to the tower's entrance. A few more steps. Praise be to the sisters, we made it! And the scale has proven itself to be everything we hoped it would be. Now we can focus on production. Once we've equipped and returned with an entire survey team, this menace will soon give up its secrets. What? go! Oh, let me go! Oh!
Oh, do calm down. You'll only hurt yourself thrashing about like that.
Stop! Oh, you can't do this! Please!
A little late for heroics, I'm afraid. The similarities are striking. My! Such hostility! Never before has my artistry so displeased. My patrons of old would have positively squealed in delight, though, between you and me, I find gushing praise exhausting.
Patrons of old.
Allow me to tell you a story. Surely you've yet to hear the one about Van Daniel, the sundered Ascian. I inherited the position and the soul of the Van Daniel who sat on the convocation in the time of the final days, theoretically speaking. Practically speaking, that fact is of no consequence. I was born and lived as, well, me. Eventually, I was recruited into the Ascians and imbued with the former Van Daniel's knowledge and memories, but I never felt that they were truly a part of who I am. How to explain? Perhaps if I told you who I was before my Ascian embrace, although that chapter too is a past I've long since discarded. I have it on good authority you've poked your nose into an Allegan ruin or two. Yes?
Are you the dude? You're the dude who did the tempering, maybe.
Then I expect you've heard of me. The old me.
Are you the guy who
At your service.
Oh, no, never mind. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, and Alman wanted to end the world.
Imagine a nation of unbridled prosperity. Every need met. Day after day of unbroken, unshakable peace. Existence fulfilled and ripe for decay.
You are a genius without peer, Amon. However do you conceive of such delightful experiments? That fool was beside himself with panic when he awoke with the head of a bull. Even his cries for help emerged as so much guttural lowing. Oh, the memory of it. My poor sides. My friends and I were so consumed by laughter, we struggled to breathe.
No more than entertainment for bored wastrels ignorant of its worth. My all-consuming work. But it was not their only indulgence. For they were ever hungry for stimulation. Slaves to the slightest hint that amusement was afoot. Our nation was ailing, but I would see the poison purged. I resurrected a legend, our first and greatest emperor.
Oh no, the guy we fought at Crystal Tower is not
Just as
Amon.
I had planned, he set our wayward empire back on the path of conquest. An inexhaustible ambition carried us onwards, always onwards. Yet, he who delivered to us such glory was not to be satisfied.
Heed me,
Zand,
Amon.
yeah. Amon Gus.
matter how vast one's empire, or full one's treasure vault, all is rendered meaningless by death.
Until one of your descendants resurrects you.
end, all is lost.
Until you get resurrected. Like, literally, you should be the one actually being like, actually, never mind, I guess not.
You know as well as I that the Emperor stands to lose this war, and so I have come to claim you. For while your methods leave something to be desired, we cannot deny the results of your work. And as fortune would have it, the seat of Fandaniel, your rightful seat, lies vacant and waiting. Take your place amongst your peers, rather than die a pointless death amidst the ashes of your doomed nation. Send one of your clones to the Crystal Tower that you might see for yourself. See what lies ahead.
Did we fight Amon also? So yeah, Zand was definitely
the Empire affirmed the truth. Majestic and tragic, as the Emperor foresaw. Scheme as you like, build as you will, nothing endures. What is life but a brief jaunt ending in emptiness?
We fought Zand in the Crystal Tower. I wasn't sure if we fought a clone of Amon also.
So easily distracted. Why, I almost left without saying farewell. As for your friend, you needn't worry. These pawns are far more useful to me alive as fuel for the primates.
It was his clone. Okay, yeah. I just forgot actually fighting him. I knew we fought him, but I couldn't remember what he looked like.
If you attempt to pull them free, they will die. So, enjoy tackling that conundrum with your comrades. We shall meet again. Not in one of these minor spires, oh no, but somewhere more suitably grandiose. Your favorite playmate is ever so eager to see.
No, oh, please don't describe it like that. No. Your return, but where's Mistress Nitana? She's in the hole. Manusa preserved just when we'd succeeded in making the talisman. I must report this at once. Meanwhile, please return to the great work. Something's gone awry, hasn't it? What happened? It was Fandaniel after all. Damn that bastard. I'm sure you wanted to do more, but you were right to return here first. We must tread warily, lest we endanger Nidhana and the other captives. First, we must inform everyone of the situation, Nidhana's colleagues included. I'll call them together for a gathering, but I think it would be best if you were the one to explain. Can you answer me this? Though Nidhana is trapped in the tower, she is still alive, yes? Then you must make warding scales, as many as we can. The prototype works perfectly. This Nidhana proved at peril to herself. So let's make more scales. Then she and all those who were taken might be saved. Yeah, you know, in retrospect, bringing the elephant person when we know exclusively elephant people have been used to power the tower is probably was not a good call. I get she wanted to do it on her own, but we could have brought a high human researcher. Aye, as alchemists is how we win the fight. My friends, the satrap has been made aware of the tragedy. Close my work chat. He offers his heartfelt condolences and reiterates his pledge to provide you with all that you require. To that end, he bade me give you this link pearl that he might personally discuss production of the warding scales with you. As for our Eorzean visitors, I bear an invitation. In her report, Mistress Nidhana noted your vital contributions to the talisman's creation. The fact that came to the satrap's attention, and in recognition of your deeds, he wishes to meet you. In addition to thanking you in person, he would also discuss further avenues of collaboration. And so, if it's agreeable, will you not accompany me to Razat Han for an audience with His Excellency? We should be honored, of course. Closer cooperation between our lands can only be to the benefit of all. Then it's settled. Please come to the gates at the east of Giant Skull grounds, and I'll show you into the city. I don't know if I mentioned this last time. I am calling the satraps evil. Like, I'm just immediately sus of the fact that, like, whenever anybody talks about him, they're like, oh man, the satrap's a great guy. Like, he's just wonderful. Everybody loves him. Also, these dragon scales were absolutely ethically sourced. Why are you asking? Like, they're insisting a bit too hard that he's a good person, so I'm sus. Which, you could argue that also the Crystal Exarch was that way, but they were very upfront with the fact that the Crystal Exarch was hiding something from you, which made me feel that he was actually good. Because I'm like, they want us to believe that it's some nefarious bullshit, but it's probably actually nothing, and it was actually nothing. And then contrast with Emmett Selk, who portrayed himself as evil, but was in reality your boyfriend. What's the orange chat? Is it Link Shell? When did I join a Link Shell? I don't know what SH stands for. Shout? Shout. Okay. When I last visited, the city was brimming with life. I expected the towers dampen the mood somewhat. Be here or in Eorzea, all share the desire to deliver all the captives. Thus united, I pray that we may join in common cause with the satrap. Of the satrap, I only know the common tidbits that, though the position is hereditary, he's not considered sovereign, and that despite possessing considerable authority, he wields it sparingly. Given the esteem in which the locals hold him, however, it's safe to assume he's good at his job. We could do far worse for an ally. Also, your boyfriend that you know murdered billions. Yeah, I get it. Sure. But to be fair, reincarnations confirmed. And I kind of get... in his defense, he didn't see them as people. I had to teach him that no, honey, people are still people. At present, let's proceed. Owing to the threat of the tower, the city is currently in a state of high alert, and strict restrictions are in place for entry. Though you have been granted special permission, I ask that you remain close to me at all times. No, honey, people have human rights.
A vast rock squats upon Favnir, and to its stony surface clings the city of Radz-at-Han. Ye who enter here are subject to the scrutiny of gods, the gate's most watchful eye. The orb which beholdeth the truth of all things. Pass beneath its hot and piercing gaze, bearing down like a second midday sun. The fragrant haze, a mixture of sweet incense and acrid smoke. The cries of merchants mingled here with lively melodies accented by dancers' feet. Travelers seduced by vivid sound and colors were once swallowed up by patchwork streets.
Radz-at-Han.
But no such scenes to savor now. To what somber present does that divine eye bear witness?
Is Radz-at-Han actually a city? I thought that, like, every expansion only brings 2 cities. And Sharlayan's 1. Is Radz-at-Han the second? Because I would have sworn that the second big city would have been somewhere on the moon.
Here we are.
Okay, Radz-at-Han's the
Megaduta.
second. Megaduta. I didn't even know that we went to not India before a little before starting this expansion.
It seems a shame to bring you here directly. Under normal circumstances, it would have been my pleasure to show you the sights.
And it would have been our pleasure to see them. Alas, it seems our tour of the city will have to wait.
I'm afraid so. Come, we should head inside. Your Excellency, may I present our honored visitors?
Splendid. Most splendid. Allow me to introduce
You have a
myself.
beard of scales.
I am Ahawan, satrap of Radzat-Han. Our alchemists tell me your assistance was invaluable in the creation of the warding scale. Such deeds ought to be recognized in person. Thus did I have young Varshan convey you here forthwith. On behalf of my people, may I express to you our sincere gratitude.
Not everything went to plan.
I assume you speak of Nidana. A regrettable incident indeed. Her colleagues insist that we honor her wishes and trust in the talisman, that it will be instrumental in saving Nidana and the others. I am eager to hear your opinion on the matter, so let us not stand on ceremony. Come, sit.
I think not. This charade has gone on long enough. Show yourself.
Forgive me, but were you expecting musicians, perhaps? There are no performers waiting in the wings at present, but arrangements could be made if you'd prefer.
Nay, he hath the right of it. The time for artifice is past. Raise the curtain.
As you wish.
You travel as assistants to the students of Baldessian, but you are known to me. Even here have we heard of the scions of the Seventh Dawn. I am Vritra, and for years uncounted hath this isle served as mine abode.
Vritra, of the first brood, sibling to Hraesvelga and Nidhogg.
I, mine elder brothers, of Midgardsormr's spawn, I was last to hatch.
Well, isn't this a surprise? We were told Radzat-Han had an alliance with a dragon. Not that a great worm sat in the satrap's own hall.
A necessary subterfuge, as the true tale of our nation history illustrates most effectively. In the beginning, the rock upon which our city is built was home to Vitra, and Vitra alone. In time, the ancestors of the Matanga came to the island and established a foothold. But never did they dare disturb the worm's lair. Next to arrive with the Aura, adopting the example of their Akasodra allies, they too treated Vitra with reverence and respect. And for many years, an understanding between our forefathers and the Great Worm endured. Until marauding heroes from the mainland came, threatening to shatter our peace and tranquility. When it seemed all would be drowned in blood, Vitra himself came forth and quelled the rising conflict. A peaceful accord was reached, and oaths sworn in Vitra's name. Thus began the dragon's governance of the fledgling state, which was to grow into Radzat-Han.
But if Vritra is still here, then your position as satrap is just...
A charade, yes. And one which my family has performed faithfully for generations.
Many envy the Great Worms their power. Were it known that I ruled here, then the fires of war would burn without end. I would not be the flame which consumeth my people, Those few who joined me in laying our country's foundations were, perforce, sworn to secrecy.
Your eye. It was taken.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't have an eye. God damn it! No more dragon eye bullshit!
'Tis here, buried within the semblance of flesh.
Oh.
The body before thee is but a simulacrum, constructed by the finest artisans of Razatan. With mine eye nestled within, it doth serve as an inconspicuous vessel for my will.
Okay, so Varshan's gonna get stolen to summon a primal or some
That would
bullshit.
explain why I felt the presence of a dragon upon our first meeting.
Okay, so the
I
Satrap's
am
not evil.
woven with words fashioned to deceive such arcane senses. Though 'twas short-lived, it seemeth thy fusion with my brother hath left thee much altered. Estinian warm blood. From the very first, we sensed the nature of one another, yet did neither one of us bare his fangs. That is all I need know of thee for now.
With my secret thus revealed, I have for you a proposal. Not as a worm of the first brood, but as the ruler of Razatan. With all haste must we take in hand the finished talismans and breach this foul spire. Thence, should it lay within our power, dispel its wicked influence. Yet even with the assurance of the warding scales, the narrow confines of the tower doth limit the size of our force.
It did seem bigger on the inside from that cutscene.
And thus denied strength in numbers, thou must choose thy soldiers with care.
Yeah, let's say like four soldiers.
Just so. Yet though our radiant host is formidable, I see a surer path before me. Thou and thy comrades have contended with a multitude of primal beings. Most recently, thou didst cast down false gods in Pagalthan and Cartanau, I am told. 'Tis upon that strength I would call. The Scions have proven themselves the most capable, and I ask that you serve as the tip of our spear. Talismans would, of course, be provided for each of thy companions. And should you agree to this undertaking, more will be provided to make use of as you see fit.
There's no denying it's a dangerous proposition, but the rewards may far outweigh the risk. Just think of what we might accomplish if we could equip all our allies with warding scales. I worry, however, that even the four of us may be too few for what you have in mind. Might we regroup with our friends first to discuss the matter?
'Tis no trifling task that I have laid before you. Go. Steel your hearts and hone your plans. Such time as you require shall we spend in crafting your protective charms.
It seems a quick trip back to Sharlayan is in order.
Wilt thou not lend thine aid?
Whether your request be made as a great worm or the ruler of Razatan, I see no reason to refuse, nor will I.
I am in thy debt.
I'm happy the rest of the Great Worms are pretty chill with the fact that Estinian killed their brother. Like, all of them are like, yeah, you know, Nidhogg was kind of a dick. I kind of get why you did it. In our course of action, if our course of action is decided, let's not tarry. That we should encounter one of the first brood in such a circumstance. He was big mad. He seemed pretty chill with Estinian. Or are you saying Nidhogg was big mad? Because all of them understand. All of them kind of get that. They're all like, "Hey, look, we get it. We all hate humanity here, but you're taking it a little too far. Maybe claiming eternal vengeance is you know, just a little bit much." The meeting took a rather unexpected turn, but we now have a clear objective ahead of us. Let's rejoin our comrades in Sharlayan and muster a suitable crew for our foray into the Tower of Zot. And if you hadn't already done so, be sure to attune to the Aetheryte here before departing, unless of course you enjoy violent nausea. Do you mean... I get it that the inside of Rodzathan is probably... like, the actual city is probably, like, well-populated and happy. Whereas right now, canonically, it's not. But, like, you would think that I would attune to the Aetheryte in Rodzathan if literally the ruler said that we should be coming back. I don't know. Midgard Somer was even like, yeah, go kill my son. Yeah, all of them were like, man... They're like, we're not gonna stop you, but, like, could you chill for just, like, a little bit, please? I'm going to the wrong place. I also could have used the Aether Shards. Alright, let's do British nonsense! Just I was getting used to the balmy Thavnir. We're back in chilly Sharlayan. Take care not to catch your death, eh? We need you for the battles to come. Now then, your investigation here remains, but when that's over, we take stock of all the developments and discoveries. Vitra and his alchemists have prepared for us our foray into the tower. What we may accomplish within its twisted halls remaineth to be seen. That Arkasodara languish in Telopharoi chains doth forewarn us of the nature of our foe. 'Tis the gods of Thavnir who will be summoned to thwart us. Oh, that's Garuda. Where's Estinian? Off brooding somewhere? I don't understand how the vote could be unanimous. What could possibly convince them all to turn their backs on Eorzea? The Forum is intent on concealing its intentions, and a cursory investigation will avail us little, I suspect. We need to dig deeper, and with the greatest of care. The process by which the Forum members are elected is fair and equitable, and neither wealth nor social standing offers any advantage to a prospective candidate, but fairly elected or not, Master Matoy has still found them all to be insufferable. Our tour of the city was a pleasant distraction. I feel more than ready now to tackle the challenges of the day. An unsettling change has come over Sharlayan, but together we'll divine the underlying cause of the Form's callousness. As I mentioned before, however, questioning the counselors directly is a fruitless effort. They seem to have already come to a consensus as to what and how little they are willing to divulge. Which is why I began scouring Sharlayan's archive of historical records for any hint of connection to the final days. Suffice it to say that progress has been slow, but there are only so many dusty pages one can skim in a day. But now that I have this band of willing reinforcements, the search should proceed all the swifter. Let's reconvene outside the Numeron, shall we? The Numenon. Exit the annex to the right and you'll find the archives at the western edge of the woods. Greek-British. Yeah. I've been to Santorini. Wait, we're reading books? Hang on a second. Ready to read books? No, I want to get my Gunbreaker experience, but I read books so hard that I summon rabbits out of them. The darkness is easy enough to follow, I hope. In any case, you stand now before the doors of the Numenon, Charlian's grandest collection of books and tomes. This building's actually only an entrance, and one of many at that, for the archives of the Numenon extend deep beneath the surface of, like roots of a tree. The vast halls of the great Gubal Library pale in comparison to the Numenon's endless maze of subterranean chambers. Any citizen of Charlian is free to enter and peruse its shelves, well, most of its shelves. Only Archons are afforded access to certain restricted vaults. I've dispatched Justola and Raha to investigate those. Meanwhile, Alice and Alphino will help me continue my research through the stacks open to the general public. Your status presents more of a problem. As a non-citizen, you're only permitted to browse the first floor here at the entrance. Even so, there should be a number of books which touch upon Charlian history and foreign policy. Your task will be to find and study the relevant publications. I promise you, a working knowledge of the subjects will make it far easier to spot the sort of clues we're looking for. Let's be about it, shall we? I've told the others to meet us at the stone benches over there once they found some promising tomes. Happy reading! To the library! I'm gonna go on an island north sea. There lived a Rognum man by the name of Youngcref. Youngcref was a student of astrology and divined that the flood of terrifying proportions would soon sweep over the lands of Eorzea. So it was he that built a gigantic ship, assembled a crew, and set sail for the imperiled realm. The flood arrived as foretold, and to their horror, the strangely churning waters drove the people towards the ocean. It was there, however, that Youngcref's crew hauled them aboard his ark, but the danger had not passed. A towering wave approached, threatening to smash the vessel to pieces. With only moments to spare, Youngcref wove a mighty spell of teleportation and shifted the entire ship to the safety of Alabath's spine. Refugees from the surrounding regions huddled there alongside them, and it was not long before the disputes over the dwindling supply of food led to violence and bloodshed. Suddenly, by the sight, Youngcref gathered to him his crew and his great passengers and abandoned the ark to those reddened peaks. They journeyed to the coast where they built a new ship, intent upon returning to the northern seas. They landed on the beach of an island and settled upon that very spot. That settlement prospered and grew, and in time became the city of Charlian, which we live in to this day. I've seen that boat! Many years ago, the banks of Thaliak and the Dravanian hinterlands, the Charlian colony once thrived. The settlement was originally established as a mere outpost to study the ethereal sea in the year 1311 of the 6th Astral Era. Scholars dispatched to Eorzea found the facilities wanting, and their demands encouraged gradual expansion in the structures and services. As rumors spread of a growing community of academics, the area was further inundated with Eorzean students hoping to share in the renowned wisdom of Charlians. 50 years later, the Forum passed a motion to recognize that would become a flourishing town as an official Charlian colony. Eorzea residents took to calling the colony itself Charlian, which led to no small amount of confusion when discussions turned to the subject of the motherland. In response, some Charlian inhabitants, if pressed for a name, would simply refer to it as Emporium. Following the Exodus, however, goblins and treasure hunters claimed themselves a corner of the abandoned colony and gave it yet another name, Idleshire. Following chapters go on to introduce the most prominent features of Idleshire. The book does not appear to contain additional information on the Forum or cover the history of Charlian motherland in greater detail. I love the I like the chill background Charlian music with the acoustic guitar. Introduction to the Heavens. Yeah, they are a bunch of cowards. Have you ever gazed at the skies above and contemplated the mysteries contained to them? I speak not of the shifting cloud patterns, but of the vastness beyond, of the sun and the twinkling tapestry of the night. Some think of the dome above us to be a finite space, yet amongst the leading thinkers of our age, one scholar's depiction of a boundless sea of stars has firmly taken root. Alas, that heavenly sea remains an unreachable, unknowable destination. There are few indeed who can explain in satisfactory detail why our own star is believed to revolve around the sun. It was the technologists of Alag who came closest to understanding the laws which govern the starry abyss. It was they who launched Dalamud and sought to expand beyond our earthbound existence. Having read of their ancient ambitions, I wonder, has your interest in this field of study waxed or waned? What if I were to tell you that the eternal constellations were arranged differently in the ages past, that their positions continue to shift almost imperceptibly, but measurably as we journey to the future? Would it shock you to learn that the stars drift further and further apart, and may indeed do so forever? Are you eager to learn more? Book is on the wrong subject, search for which contain details in the forum, or mention the history of Charlian. My beloved seekers of knowledge, have you ever put yearning before your health and neglected to feed your body as you should? I too once engaged in such foolish practices, but one night, engrossed in philosophical study, I had an epiphany. For all the world's mysteries that drive us to reckless abandon, we have so very few years of life in which to achieve our goals, and thus do I share with you this mantra: I am forever 20 summers young. The number itself is unimportant. You could be 19 or 23 or 40, whatever age you are when you discover this manual, let that be the age you aspire to remain. Though through mindful and healthy living, you will extend the time available to spend upon your chosen research, another day, another moon, another summer to grasp the greater truths you pursue. In the pages that follow, we will explore the secrets of maintaining one's physical condition from a biological, etherological, and arcane viewpoint. My RP character grew up there. She's not happy her childhood home was abandoned at 15. Not at 15 years ago. I need to go back. I joined an RP group that's a magic academy, an adventure academy, and I just haven't done anything with it yet. I have not tried RPing in 14 yet, but I was going to have Baron be my grumpy math nerd edgelord going to adventurer school, but I just haven't had the time. Fate title reads Stewards of Wisdom. During the chaos of the Sixth Umbral Calamity, Archon Yumkref, founder of Charlian, bore witness to the madness and savagery of men brought to the brink of despair. Upon raising a settlement on an island in the Northern Empty, he instructed his people thus: renounce the ways of war and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason. Charlians took to heart the words of their savior, and thenceforth served as stewards of wisdom. Upon a foundation of accumulated learning, they built a homeland unlike any other, a nation born from the strength of minds rather than the strength of arms. With knowledge of economics came shrewd trading. With knowledge of agriculture came bountiful crops. Engineering brought wells and sewers and ending squabbles over water. Wealth of expertise could be bartered for wealth of coin, and the more their wisdom spread throughout the world, the more mankind as a whole would thrive. And so it was that no matter the trials and tribulations of the age, the citizens of Charlian would live by their founders' teachings. For the sake of a better tomorrow, for the sake of a brighter star, they would eschew the tools of war with the knowledge, with knowledge deliver the world. Y'shtola basically read that Forever Young book. Am I missing one? What? Yeah, I read this one. Did I skip over? Are there others? The Voice of a Growing City. In the years that followed the founding of Charlian, civic policy and other matters of import were decided at the Ecclesia, a public forum at which every citizen was eligible to speak. As the city's population grew, however, this format became increasingly impractical. Larger numbers of participants gave rise to ever longer debates, resulting in significant delays of vital resolutions. Various members were introduced to attempt to curtail protracted discussions, but in the year 201 of the Sixth Astral Era, it was ultimately decreed that Sharlayan would transition to a new form of governance. The nation would now be led by a body of 99 members, citizens chosen from amongst their peers by means of nationwide vote. Thus was the Forum as we know it today conceived and created. Sorry, are you waiting long? And Sharlayan Colony was abandoned 15 years ago, which would make her approximately 32. I wanted to make sure I borrowed at least a few promising volumes. Alphino and Krell should also be long shortly. I love She-Ra. They apparently said that Entrapta is roughly her voice actress's age, which meant that Entrapta was in her 40s. It was like 30, like late 30s, early 40s. And I was like, that's crazy. Oh, she says she's 23. I was delayed in a similar fashion. As far as I could see, no tiles in the Archon stacks mentioned the final days specifically. So we had no choice but to start with tangentially related tomes, if they're even that. At present, the plan is to skim through them as quickly as we dare, and share our discoveries as we make them. It would have been nice to invite everyone to the estate, plenty of comfortable places to read, and I'd ready a supply of hot tea. I was always quite fond of reading outside. But it's not about the little pleasures, is it? You miss your home. It's been difficult. After our arrival, we managed to speak with one of the family servants about how things were. It seems our dear father has instructed the staff that even Alphino and that even if Alphino and I were to return to Sharlayan, we were not to be allowed to cross the threshold. Harsh measure indeed. I hope that our efforts to understand his position and that of the Forum will perhaps lead to a reconciliation. We'll mend this rift one day, I'm certain of it. And what of you, Graha? Have you been to visit your family, or do they not live here in the city? My situation's also somewhat complicated. I was raised in Sharlayan, yes, but I was born rather further away. In the southern in the southern reaches of Ilsabard, in fact, for generations, my people have dwelt in Corvos, a coastal region opposite the island of Thavnir. The Alogans founded a city in that fertile land, and by ship brought in the subjugated tribes of Mikote to serve as laborers. Of course, the massive earthquakes and the Fourth Umber Calamity brought an end to the Empire's reign, and with the Fifth Calamity froze the seas solid, many of the tribes still living in Corvos braved the journey back to Eorzea. My ancestors, however, chose to remain that they might prevent the remnants of Alogan technology from being misused. Isn't Corvos under Garlean rule? For the past 50 years, yes. Some semblance of local culture remains, as is the case for most imperial provinces, but Garlemald renamed the region Locus Amorinus. When I was a boy, a nearby town came under the jurisdiction of an illustrious imperial family, the nobles of House Darnus. Also, just good... So Mikote in Alogan times were slave labor, but Graha has royal blood, which does imply it was unfortunately like actual world slavery. Yay! As a boy, a nearby town came under the jurisdiction of an industrious imperial family, the nobles of House Darnus. House Darnus demonstrated a singular interest in Elagan civilization, and so my tribe was forced to consider a plan of action. For some time... Well, actually, no, wait. Are they saying that it's the Grawha's Garlean... Maybe they're about to say Grawha's Garlean heritage, which that's where the Elagan bit comes from. For some time already, voices had been raised in favor of abandoning our ancient customs. After all, the Elagan Eye no longer passed to our eldest children as reliably as it once had. Okay, no. It was specifically a Makote thing. Fear of the discovery eventually tipped the scales, and the decision was made to bury our ties to the knowledge and traditions of Elag. As the last child born with the Elagan Eye, I was given over to the custody of friends and the students of Baldessian, who had me registered as a Sharlayan citizen. I never even considered... Forgive me, it was an unkind question. Even Thancred was taken in by Archon Louisoix, was he not? Stories of adopted waifs and rescued orphans are more common among Sharlayans than you may think. Yet, regardless of our origins, we are all provided with an equal opportunity to learn, and with sufficient precipacity, we outsiders can even earn the vaunted title of Archon. It is exactly why I have a love for this country, and why I wish to remain a nation. I wish it to remain a nation of which its citizens can be proud. Hear, hear. Another good reason to get to the bottom of the Forum's stubbornness, aside from that trifling matter of our impending doom. Excuse us while we try and make some headway into these books. More companies should be arriving any moment now. Wait, nope, stop. Talk to the boyfriend. What else do I know of Corvos? Precious little, I'm afraid. I have not returned since Master Girl first brought me here. I can tell you that Corvosi rebels still seek to slip the yoke of their Imperial masters, though the fighting is far less fierce than it once was. Oh, and they have carpets. Flying carpets. Legends are quite extraordinary. There are others better suited to poring over old history books, so I thought I'd try my luck with more recent events. If I can find anything better to inform the Forum's baffling behavior. So are they saying Corvos just was a big Elagan city, but... No, I suppose, okay, because I was like, I thought the Crystal Tower in, like, Eorzea was more the center of, like, the height of Elag's technological wonders, but I guess it kind of makes sense that of the shit that survived, stuff further away from Eorzea would have survived, because the earthquake that triggered the calamity would have destroyed most of Elag that's in Eorzea. We've returned with our selections. Although I must say, the pickings were quite slim indeed. Mr. Kryle has already flicked through every history book devoted to disasters, more than a few which barely made mention of them. As such, we will be looking into research papers on the Umbral calamities, as well as articles written by prominent forum members. Perhaps their knowledge of the final days comes from an unexpected source. Speaking of which, might I ask you a few questions related to the final days? I'm the only one here who didn't witness the events of Amarok firsthand, and I fear I'm be overlooking some crucial details. My thanks. Now where to begin? First things first, what kind of phenomena did the ancients encounter as the final days drew nigh? The worst kinds you can imagine! Complete destabilization of creation magics. Yes, the unfolding catastrophe wrought havoc on all manner of life. The chaos extended to the ancients themselves, causing their powers of creation to spiral out of control. Fear and despair manifested in terrible, tangible fashion, meteors raining down from the sky and fire erupting from the ground, indescribable abominations prowling the streets. That more or less aligns with my understanding. If only the arts of creation had survived until present day, we might have something substantial to analyze. To the best of our knowledge, however, the closest techniques, those techniques were not preserved or passed on. Yishtol surmises the closest known magic is that of summoning rituals promulgated by the Asians. Was there aught else of note which heralded the approach of the final days? They say it began with a keening sound from the land itself. Yes, the Amarautites spoke of it, didn't they? We never did hear the sound ourselves, of course. Thus we were, thrust as we were into the midst of the madness. But it seems that each and every one of those catastrophes was preceded by this ominous noise. Eventually, it resounded all across the star, and not even Amarat was spared. I wouldn't argue Y'shtola's age with her for fear of being murdered. Grandma's crying out, you say. To be considered a harbinger of doom, it must have been quite distinctive, and probably quite loud. I'm just gonna, the fact that the timeline of 14 is all wibbly-wobbly, I'm gonna assume everyone read that book, and that's why no one ages in this game, despite the fact that, at the very least, a couple months have passed in the game. To be considered the harbinger of doom, it must have been quite distinctive, and probably quite loud. I have to speak with one of Numenon's mammoths. Perhaps ask after any books which make mention of such a sound. Last but not least, would you describe how the ancients sought to quell this unprecedented calamity? What definitive action did they take? They summoned Zodiark. With Elidibus serving as his heart, so many gave themselves in sacrifice to bring him into being. We do not know exactly how Zodiark brought salvation to the star, only that they, by his godlike will, were the laws of nature set aright. Then, once the balance was readdressed, the ancients offered up a further sacrifice to heal the ravages of the final days. Lives sprouted anew, and it was these fledgling souls that they intended to render into Zodiark, a trade that would have allowed them to resurrect the shades and loved ones absorbed by the primal. Or might have... shit. Might have been without Heidelin have done the thing. I missed that box. Thank you both of you for the detailed review. I feel much more confident now in my understanding of events. And for recapping anybody who bought the story skip to Endwalker. With all that freshly in mind, it does make me wonder what the Telophoroi truly mean when they speak of bringing back the final days. We've seen what they're doing with the towers of theirs. Is forcing people to summon primals a kind of catalyst? Are they attempting to mirror the conditions caused by unstable creation magics? Or are they simply using the final days as a figure of speech, a convenient metaphor for the scale of destruction they plan to unleash? But all this is pointless conjecture at this stage. Let's return to our attention to the forum, shall we? We should keep an eye out for Y'shtola, but 'tis time we began studying these research papers. Many forum members are also researchers or professors. If they know aught of the final days, then that knowledge might surface in their writing. That is my hope, anyway. It really is comforting to have all these dedicated assistants on hand. Right then, enough chatting, more reading. I'm the last, am I? Well, my extended search of the Archon stacks produced one or two possibly useful books, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. As you recall, Eorzea learned the source's reflections from the Garen Oracles. For its potential to cause panic and confusion, that tome was deemed apocrypha and sealed away in the Great Gubal Library. 'Tis even less likely that knowledge of the Unsundered World, not to mention the horrors of the final days, would be left sitting on the shelf for any curious scholar to find. It stands to reason that my colleagues, be they Archons or Counselors, should perforce be largely ignorant of the subject. Yet when you confronted Master Fortuno with knowledge of the Telophoroi and their machinations, he scoffed at the suggestion that they posed a threat. He seemed adamant that the Forum would know if the final days were truly upon us. Which only supports the conclusion that whatever privileged wisdom is guiding the Forum's behavior, it's being kept secret from the rest of the nation. Not that I mean to excuse myself from reading duty, whether they contain mention of the final days or no, these books could yet hold something of value. You weren't thinking of leaving, were you? There's plenty of work for everyone. Are we gonna pan up and Daniel's gonna be on a... No, Danny's not here. You labor for what feels like an age as you stole his research assistant. Thank you for your help, but I think I can manage the rest without your assistance. If I were you, I'd steal a few quiet moments for myself. Oh dear, you look exhausted. What about your studies? Were you able to find any books on the subjects I mentioned? The day was well spent. Should you wish to read them again, the man at the reference desk will point you in the right direction. For the moment, though, I suggest you take a well-deserved rest. We might be occupied with our research for quite some time. Hey, Eorzea, do you want me to help with family drama? Ready for a tea break? I know I am. Honestly, my neck and shoulders are going to calcify if I don't stretch my legs and walk around for a bit. Eorzea, you're standing. You know the last stand down in the harbor, don't you? Come meet me outside near the outer tables. I'll treat you to coffee. It's quite good. Oh. I should have just teleported. Ethernet is a thing. New Gerblins! Berries are most tasty fresh gobby treats. Never seen them before. They aren't dangerous, are they? As busy as ever, I see. How very Charlie, that no other gourmet cafe has sprung up to compete for the customers. Actually, this crowd gives me an idea. Before we place an order, why don't we ask a few questions and gauge the mood of the city? I'm interested to hear what the average citizen has to say about the Talaferoi. We might even learn something new. Worth a try, don't you think? Are we gonna learn that there is no war in Bossing Say? What is it? Can a man not enjoy a moment of private respite? If you're looking to share a table, I respectfully request that you look elsewhere. You misunderstand, sir. We're wondering if you knew of the Talaferoi, these enemies of peace have promised to end the whole world, all we hold dear. And what? Wait, you're the House Levieur girl, aren't you? And this man with you is obviously a foreigner. I've heard you were disowned for helping outsiders indulge their barbaric whims, and here you are, giving truth to the rumor. I'll thank you to leave me be. I've naught to say to the likes of you. I apologize. It was foolish of me to expect an ounce of civility from someone so enlightened. Come. And I believe you've had the pleasure? Pray the intrusion. We're hoping you might share your thoughts on the Talaferoi and their unconscionable plans. My goodness, if it isn't the young Miss Levieur! My apologies, but I work in the offices of the Forum, and if word reached Master Force should know that I was here helping you. I see. We're sorry to have bothered you. Hi, Dickin. Welcome, sir. What can I offer you today? Is that Mistress Eorzea I see there? My word, how long has it been? Far too long. Meet Dickin, the owner of the Last Stand. I used to frequent his cafe on occasion, and in between lessons at the studium. Seems like an age ago now, though I remember hearing that you and Master Alphinoids sailed for Eorzea, and you never came back. Lately there's been gossip of your father disowning the pair of you. Everything all right at home? It's complicated, and I hadn't expected complete strangers to be so familiar with our situation quite so quickly. Everyone has an opinion, it seems. It is House Levieur. No matter how discreet Master Fortuno may have been, news of your family's doings never stays secret for long. Things being what they are, what brings you back to the city now of all times? I have questions, and only Charlian has answers. Tell me, Master Dickin, have you heard anything about the apocalypse called the Final Days? What, like the end of the world? Nothing like that, I'm afraid. And that's what you're here to find? Information on this apocalypse? whatever we can learn. Unfortunately, your patrons appear to be unwilling to speak with me. Wish there was more I could do to help. Maybe there is. You're a visitor to Charlian, are you? Then few will know your face. You should be able to pass. I should be able to pass you off as a server with none the wiser. We are just finished preparing a few orders. Strike up some friendly conversation while you're setting down food, and you might just get the answers you're looking for. Not a bad idea. I hate to ask. What do you think? Does it come with glam? Are you going to give me a uniform? That's the spirit. Pay attention now, and I'll explain where each of these dishes need to go. The tea set is for the chatty gossip sitting on water's edge. The omelet is for one of our regulars, a Highlander by the name of Gilsa. She is sitting outside with a friend of hers. Behind them, you should see a Mikote gentleman. He ordered the oven-baked lobster. Got all that? If you're not sure, just ask and I'll explain again. Good luck. Tea set. Oh, my tea set, lovely, thank you. Talafa who? I'm sorry, I've never heard of them or their final days. My friends and I are somewhat uninformed when it comes to current events. Now, if you wanted to hear about the rural arcane practices of the 6th Astral Era, common or esoteric, I'd be happy to talk your ear off. Oh, maybe my... Oh, lad, you probably shouldn't be on that table. Omelette. Gisla. Finally, 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's dig in. No time to waste. The Talafaroi? Ah, yes, I remember seeing the name in the latest Gazette. Some grand claim about the end of days. Same old senseless warmongering. When will these fools grow tired of spilling each other's blood? Best stay out of it, I say. The Forum made the right choice, and I fully support our decision to remain neutral. Urban banter with a smile. No, lobster. Last, oven-baked lobster is mine. You have no idea how long I've scrimped and saved and suffered to afford this heavenly dish. The final days is the first I've heard of it. Although it would explain why my friend had rushed off his feet. It must be a busy time to be a gleaner. You don't know what a gleaner is? They're collectors of a sort. Travel the world procuring things that we haven't gotten here in Charlian. Priceless books, unusual live specimens, and so forth. So named for those folk who trail after all the reapers in the fields, picking up every grain that was missed. Aye, by all accounts, gleaning's a most meticulous and demanding profession. If these Talafaroi make good on their audacious threats, then many uncatalogued relics could be lost forever. Why else would the gleaners be buzzing about in such a frenzy? Watch the harbor and you'll see what I mean. They're carting loads from the docks all day. It's never been this hectic before, not like this. Any trouble with the customers? Were you able to get anyone talking? Interesting. They seem unaware of the final days aside from whatever vague news the gazettes are printing. Even Dickon had nothing to offer, and he's the best source of gossip in the city. If the Forum does have secret knowledge, then they've done an impressive job of ensuring no one whispers it in the wrong ear. In any case, thank you for playing the part so well. Here, that cup of coffee I offered. Let's enjoy our drink somewhere else, shall we? Maybe behind the peristyle, away from gossips and their waggering tongues. This should do nicely, out of the wind and out of sight.
When our father disowned us, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It wasn't until much later that his words began to sink in, that I began to feel the weight of what it meant. Do you remember when the decision was made to come to Charlian? Grahas said that the Forum was determined to keep us in the dark, and that Father's venomous performance was part of that strategy, to keep us at arm's length. Perhaps it was. Father argued with Grandfather on many occasions, but never with such dismissive contempt. And when he demanded what justifies the sacrifices we make in war, I honestly didn't know what to say. Neither did Alpha know, I know, but never for one moment did I believe we had made the wrong choice. So all I could do was fume silently. It was only afterwards that I realized how childish I had been, how being stubborn and self-righteous must run in the family. If I could have just mustered a civil response, then things might have turned out differently. They must be ferrying goods to Labyrinthos. A vast complex beneath the island. Charlian is famous for archiving knowledge from around the world. Well, that knowledge is not preserved exclusively in dusty tomes and desiccated samples. Our living library, comprised of all manner of flora and fauna, is housed and studied within that underground facility.
Sure sounds like a dungeon I'm gonna have to go through at some point.
Still, that did seem to be an unusually large shipment. When I lived here, it was rare to even see such cargo transported by boat. Wait! Didn't you hear something in the last stand about the Gleaners coming and going more than usual? Well, I think they're the ones we saw manning those boats. And Gleaners answer to the Forum. If the appearance of the Telophoroi prompted this sudden burst of activity, then Labyrinthos may hold a clue as to what the Forum is planning.
We should tell the others what we learned about the Gleaners. Go on ahead to Numenon. I'll join you in a moment. Master Dickon wanted his cups back. Oh, also, speaking of... Not speaking of. This is unprompted by anything. I'm still... I want to get the Storm Captain's coat, and I've been waiting for ages. Nobody wants to join my dang contingent. I gotta complete more challenges. Welcome back. Been for a walk and cleared your head, have you? Not exactly. We did some impromptu investigating and turned up information on the Gleaners. Makes sense. The Gleaners take their requests directly from institutions and bureaucrats, but as you say, they ultimately answer to the Forum. And a sudden significant increase in Gleaner traffic and cargo, it certainly gives the impression of overarching plans being put into motion. Let us see what theory we can build from the facts. As Y'shtola observed earlier, Numenon's activities archives appear to contain no information concerning the final days. Coupled with what Missing and Alizé learned of the Last Stand, we can be reasonably sure that most Sharlanes know nothing of that particular period of ancient history. Yet my father and his colleagues are not only familiar with the final days, but also somehow certain that the destruction being perpetrated by the Telophoroi is wholly unlike these apocalyptic events. Moreover, the Forum claims to be so occupied by a duty of such pressing importance that they sought fit to unanimously deny Eorzea's request for aid. And now the Gleaners, official agents of the state, have been mobilized on an unprecedented scale. I do not think it a stretch to conclude that the Gleaners' recent activities are in service to the Forum's secretive ends. In which case, our next course of action seems obvious. We visit Labyrinthos and assess the situation for ourselves, and if we're lucky, the Gleaners will be far more receptive to our questions. What should we expect down there? Oh, I would hate to spoil the surprise. As for myself, there are a few more subjects I should like to research. I'll join you later, but feel free to leave behind your borrowed books and be on your way. I'll see to it that each is returned to its proper place. That'd be a great help. Thank you, Raha. Let's head down the stairs over there. I'll show you where the entrance is. Labyrinthos is not too far from here, but you may find the path a bit disorienting. I'll take the lead, so stay close. I'll say try not to fall behind. Oh no, I'm falling behind. Alizé, you can move faster than that. Alizé? It sure is. Can we... We really should. You can move faster than that. I'm moving faster walking backwards. Get... Alizé. What? Now we run. Okay, thank you. Why were you not running the whole time? I know you are an infinite source of energy. Rostra, not far now. Yeah, through this door, down the stairs. You did tune to the shard back there, didn't you? Will make your life a lot easier if you need to come back in a hurry. Otherwise, we should keep moving. You know, you guys could have just put a pin on the map for me. As much as I like spending time with Alizé. You didn't take a wrong turn to the roster there, did you? I doubt the forum would take kindly to you barging in on a private session. I've not been to Labyrinthos in the longest time, even as a student, and my visits were few and far between. How did the Forum learn of the final days, and exactly how much do they know? More to the point, what do they intend to do about it? Hopefully, the answer to at least one of those questions lies below. Over to Hall of Artifice, should you be looking to descend into Labyrinthos, the lift here will take you there. We're all here now, yes? I've taken the liberty of securing permission for our group's descent. Everyone onto the lift, and on we go. Oh, man.
Deep beneath the Scholar's City shines a false sun within a fabricated sky.
We're playing Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the Indigo Disc expansion.
In any age exist those who consider the floor an extension of their bookshelves. And this vault's architects surely belonged to that special breed. If the stack grows too high, start a new one. If no room remains, then make more rooms. A simple solution at first, and then bit by bit, a profound transformation. Knowledge, buried beneath knowledge, a growing, creeping labyrinth from which there is no escape.
And that sun lets us Dynamax our Pokemon here. Not Dynamax, Terrastalize our Pokemon here.
Not what you expected. I must admit, the artifice is very convincing. But I assure you that we are beneath Sharlayan itself. The breeze you feel, the flowing waters you hear, all created by the hand of man.
The island is volcanic, you see, and once upon a time this great hollow must have been a reservoir for magma. It was discovered some 400 years ago, at which point it was repurposed as a storage facility for scrolls and samples and such. Renovations have continued, with nigh on no interruption to this day, with the lower levels still undergoing expansion.
Aren't those people gleaners?
Aye, judging by their dress. They are said to work alone as a rule, but 'twould seem that rule is being enthusiastically broken today. It may be as you suspected, that they are engaged in a task apart from the norm.
Let's spread out and get some answers then.
Ugh. Did you call to me just now? No. How odd. I must be a bit dizzy from the descent. I'll be fine, I'm sure. Let's get to work, shall we?
Yeah, I mean, EverQuest's pretty cool. Is there an Aetheryte around here that I can... God, this place is huge. Yeah, geez, this sure is. Just Pokemon the Indigo Disc. I can't believe the Indigo Disc ripped off Final Fantasy XIV. You want to know what I'm doing? Hauling books and ore and fauna. If it needs hauling, I haul it. Every decade or so, they take stock in Labyrinthos, you know, sort and tidy up the inventory. Never an operation like this before, though. They did one just a few summers ago, even. Then, with no warning at all, this mess gets dropped in our laps. Orders from on high. Damned if I know the reason. Could be that they're changing the layout, eh? Preparing for the next big expansion. Most of these gathered here appear to be gleaners. Why don't you wander around and make small talk? Let me think. The Rhea seeds should be item number 1058. Cumin seeds should be 1059. Snurbbleberry 1060. Or are they 1061? My head feels like it's stuffed in with moko grass. Why more loads to take out than carry in? Why do all this at once and risk mixing it up? What if someone mistakes the Corothan carrots for Girabonian carrots? What then? Large students coming in and out of Labyrinthos. You're here to help or give more headaches, because you don't have the look of a gleaner, and I'm in no mood for idle chatter. One of my colleagues is so exhausted he took a tumble and crashed into a pile of crates. Now I have to pack a pack of marmots running loose. Any luck? What tales do the gleaners have to tell? This grand operation began without warning, and for every item they bring in, they're sending more inventory somewhere else. That would explain the haggard faces I've been seeing. We were right, the form's definitely up to something, and they're turning Labyrinthos upside down in the process. Oh, new Ethernet destination now accessible Hall of Artifice Labyrinthos. Okay, I do, because I was confused. I was like, oh, I tuned to all the Ethernet shards. Usually it gives you access to the area directly outside of the town. You do well learn of what specifically the Gleaners being tasked to do, as well as who's tasked them to do it. If you're game, I have an idea. Didn't one of the Gleaners you questioned say something about escaped marmots? Perhaps if you were to help them capture said creatures, you might be inclined towards more friendly and enlightening conversation. In the meantime, I'll turn up my charms on this Gleaner here. We can compare notes afterwards. Happy hunting! I'm not shirking my duties. I've not been down here in an age in which to get my bearings before I went bumbling about. From what I can see, however, there's not obviously out of place. It seems that I shall have to resort to discreet inquiries after all. Where am I going? You wish to help me find my marmots? I have nothing suitable to pay you for your services, but if you're offering out of the goodness of your heart, I'd welcome the assistance. The name's Aaronville, friend, specialist in the collection of live specimens. That said, the capture of these Nagshan marmots is a trial I've no desire to repeat. Grizzled mice, they call them. For a mercy, there are no other marmot species on this tier at present, so there should be no mistaking our little fugitives. If you happen to catch any, stuff them in this sack, gently, of course. Where to begin, you wonder? I've not seen any scampering around here, so you'll need to widen our search to the surrounding forest. Be on your guard. These are beasts. There are beasts out there that won't hesitate to prey on a marmot or you. I'll search the trees to the west. The eastern parts of the forest is all yours. Good luck. Trolls. quest. Raid the sack when it scampers off to the underbrush. There. Bag. Nimbly evades your... God! Get over here, nerd. I'm assuming it's on top of the cliff. I don't see anything down here. Mouse. Get in the bag. All right. How'd you fare? I tracked down the 3 of the pack, which leaves 1 unaccounted for. There's our odd marmot out. Wait here a moment while I put our friend in a holding cage. Thankfully, the marmots seem to be unharmed. They've held up well in isolation, but it's much too soon to release them into the habitat. It's a good thing we're able to recapture them so swiftly. You have my thanks. Who tasked you to capture them in the first place? The authority in charge of Labyrinthos now, in perpetuity. The same officials who've had us working day and night of late. The honorable members of the Forum. Who else? Suitable for consumption and easy to breed. Those were the 2 conditions I was given for the stock I was intended to procure. I don't know what the Forum has planned for these creatures, but at the very least, I doubt that they'll be served for dinner today or tomorrow. It sounds like they're doomsday prepping. This gleaner is the gleaner you mentioned, the one who was looking for lost marmots. Interesting company you keep, friend. Who are you folk, anyway? I'm Kryle, the student of Aldessian. These others are my associates. Truth be told, the Forum's decisions of late have not sat entirely well with us. That's why we made the descent into Labyrinthos. We hoped that by seeing the decisions put into action, we might more fully understand their reasoning. Wise and practical. Never hurts to try and get a broader perspective, does it? Anyway, duty calls. The other animals to capture and enclosures to empty. Once again, I'm sorry that I can't offer you more for your services. Did you learn anything new from your friend there? So we've confirmed from the Order that this ambitious operation did indeed come directly from the Forum. However, the Gleaners have not been informed of its purpose. I'd say this fits with everything we've heard thus far. We've also discovered when the operation was begun. The Forum contacted the Gleaners Guild ship and put the people to this great work some 4 days after the Telophoroi made their chilling declaration. As seasoned travelers, the Gleaners kept abreast of news from every corner of the world out of necessity, thus I'm inclined to trust that their calendar of events is accurate. Altogether, it gives a distinct impression that this undertaking was a sudden and unexpected development. Yet I find it hard to believe that such a comprehensive restructuring of Labyrinthos and its archives could have been planned in so brief a window. Nay, this plan was long in the making. They were but awaiting the right time to put it into effect. And the Telophoroi's declaration was what set it into motion? It seems likely, but let's not leap to conclusions just yet. For the moment, I suggest we conduct a wider investigation of Labyrinthos. The more facilities we visit, the more pieces of the puzzle we will still find. In that case, how about we head to the Archon? From there, we can reach the lower... Kyle, what's wrong? I'm fine, truly. The sudden descent has left me with a bit of a headache, that's all. Nothing will stop me from soldering on. Let's be about it, then. At least allow me to take the lead. I'm fairly certain I remember the way to the Archeon. We follow the path east through the forest, where you were chasing after that mouse. Or marmot, was it? Anyway, 'tis the trolls you need to watch out for. This is a Girabanya Aetherite. I find it interesting that I thought they were all going to be Charlian Aetherites this expansion, but... Especially in Charlian. Excuse me, Elf. No, I'm going to go attune to a thing before I talk to you. Behold the Archeon. As Numenon's serves as Charlian's literary archive, so does the structure house the city's wealth of material data. The architecture, too, is similar. The building you see is merely the upper entrance, an access point to the vaults carved in the cliff itself. Within those vast rooms are stored countless samples of specimens, as well as the detailed records which describe them. In manners of speaking, the Archeon contains a physical history of Charlian's unwavering dedication to the accumulation of knowledge. Well, we won't be learning anything of value standing out here. Let's proceed into the main building and speak with the custodian. Poor Rogo! Greetings, we're here to peruse the Archeon's vaults. Peruse? You're certainly not gleaners, then. Might I ask your affiliation? We belong to the students of Baldessian, but is that relevant? I was given to believe the vaults are open, those open to the public at least, were open to the public. Ordinarily, yes, that would be the case. At present, however, access is restricted. Only persons directly involved in the reorganization efforts are permitted to enter. Not us, then. I suppose we had better move along to another facility. The building has a lift which connects to the middle tier, yes? Might we at least make use of that? The service has also been suspended, I'm afraid. For the time being, priority has been given over to the conveyance of inventory. What? This is as far as we can go? Apologies for the inconvenience. Please come again after our restructuring operation is concluded. By that time it'll be too late, and we were so close to getting answers. We need to rethink our approach. Let's step outside for the moment, shall we? Students of Baldessian. The Forum must be wary of exposure indeed to so heavily restrict the use of public institutions. If they're going to close off facilities, they ought to announce it. The students must be furious. Labyrinthos is constructed in the shape of a mortar. The upper layer is called the outer circuit, and the medial circuit lies one tier below us. We're at an impasse. As we have no other leads, I should like to pursue this one further. But I doubt that our stone-faced custodian will be swayed by a heartfelt pleas. We must seek another means to access the lower levels. 'Tis likely that people in this area are involved with the restructuring in one way or another. If we were to integrate ourselves, they might allow us to accompany them onto the lift. Let us ask around. Surely someone's in need of a few strong backs to lighten the load. Am I taking the lift? Oh no, we're just students. They won't let us into the Archeon, even though we found... Actually, we have no idea what it is we found. There's no record of such a creature anywhere, but it was wandering around Tranquility, and so we thought to donate it to the vaults. Oddest little squeal, don't you think? Anyway, I suppose we'll have to take care of it until the Archeon's open again. That's going to be relevant later, isn't it? Poor Orogo! Frog boy! ¿Dónde está? Oh, there we go. What's that? Take you down the lift with me? Sorry, but not a chance. I've been up and down all day, and now only have I found a spare moment to rest. I did see a gleaner fellow heading to the gate there, though, shouldering a large pack, engaged in some manner of task. Maybe he's headed down below after he's done with whatever it is he's doing. Quiet, you'll frighten it away. Ah, it's you again. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm in the middle of another task. The cloudkin I need to capture is very close. You're the boy! I'm realizing you're the boy from the Dawn Trail trailer! I was thinking maybe it's just, oh, you are random Vera male, but I'm seeing you multiple times now, and you are in the exact same outfit, so I'm assuming that you are Dawn Trail Boy. I'm in the middle of another task. The cloud I need to capture is very close. You wish to help me with this too? You spend your time in unusual ways, my friend. Still, 2 hunters are generally better than 1. Farewell. The canal here is a common gathering spot for birds of all kinds, but one I'm after today is the hornbill. Its feathers are green, and its cry a distinctive caw. Single it out and shoot it with this sleeping dart. The effects are short-lived, so I'll lie in wait by the riverbank to claim our quarry. Be sure to hit the right one. Blowgun minigame. Green cry is a distinct caw. Is it that one? That's Wark. So that means it's you, yeah? Yep.
Fair shot.
Yeah, you also have a voice actor and you sound exactly like Dawn Trail Boy.
Nicely done. Let me truss this one up and I'll make my way over to you.
You sound actually a little different.
There you are. Any new revelations?
So you met with that gleaner again, this time to capture a hornbill. I understand catching and bringing in creatures from the outside, but what's the point of chasing after ones already here?
Oh, it's a simple thing, really. Occasionally, we remove specimens no longer needed for study, or those we've had difficulty raising. But we can't simply turn them loose. Safely returning such creatures to their native habitats is another facet of a gleaner's duties.
You do sound like the Dawn Trail guy.
But not in this case, I'm afraid. I've been asked to bring the bird below.
The restricted section in the lower levels of Labyrinthos. Open only to a select few researchers hand-picked by the Forum. The projects down there are the subject of rumor and hearsay. Forbidden magics. Advanced technologies that can never be allowed to fall into outside hands. Even Archons are not privy to the truth. Those who are, the researchers involved in this secretive work, are not permitted to walk freely in the city, and are instead required to live in isolated quarters.
It's the SCP Foundation. Charlian has the SCP
What could
Foundation.
A facility subject to such strict security protocols possibly need with a hornbill? An experiment?
The S in SCP stands for Charlian.
Possibly. I wasn't afforded an explanation. But judging by the requisition list given to me and my colleagues, I doubt it's for any kind of advanced research. I'd be more inclined to believe we were making preparations to migrate to the south. Mericidia or thereabouts.
What? Why would you say that?
Much of the flora and fauna we were asked to procure could serve as reliable sources of sustenance. They're comparatively hardy species, too, able to endure harsh climates. And among them are specimens known to be effective in improving soil quality and purifying water.
When you put it that way, migration does sound like a reasonable assumption.
That's all it is, though. An assumption. Through our tasks, we gleaners glimpse only bits and pieces of the Forum's plans. Our prime concern is that our requisitions, be they living or otherwise, are properly preserved for the knowledge of future generations. Now, I really must be going. I regret that I cannot reward you as you deserve.
Perhaps you might reward us after a fashion then. It is imperative that we reach the lower levels. And seeing as you are already set to descend with your assigned cargo, mayhap we could accompany you as your assistants.
I'm afraid that won't be possible. Once the animals have been prepared for transport, we send them down separately via the lift. I will of course follow after to make my report, but I can hardly pass you off as porters when there's nothing left to carry.
Indeed. Pray forget I said anything.
How do you feel about climbing? If you've strength and the courage to brave it, then there is another way down. This path leads to the 33rd facet, a mine shaft excavated during one of our expansions of Labyrinthos. While I cannot guarantee that the passage is safe to traverse, it should provide access to the medial circuit below.
I never even knew such a place existed. Thank you. This is the perfect solution.
You're quite welcome, but consider yourselves warned. If the going proves too treacherous, you do well to turn back. I bid you good day.
Let's find him, the Warrior of Light. I killed Hades, who was also my boyfriend.
Well, turning back is hardly an option, not when we've come this far. Let's go and take a look at this mine shaft.
Is it a dungeon? Oh, it's daytime now. Never would have noticed it came on my own. Thank the scholar that Erenvel knew of it, and you were the one to persuade him to share. The medial circuit, which Erenvel mentioned, is the tier directly below us. Unlike the lowest level of Labyrinthos, which is with its rigid security, one can usually roam the middle layer quite freely. Let's see what we might find. Took a quick peek inside, but it's awfully dark in there. Must be at the entrance to the mine shaft. 'Tis faint, but I hear something moving within. Creatures homed in there by the researchers, you think? Well, slabbering beasts aside, we should watch our footing. We should tighten our straps and such before we continue. Assuming everyone's tightened their straps and checked their gear, I say we head in. Given the terrain ahead, though, it might be wise to leave some distance between us. We don't want to be stumbling over each other if it comes to a fight. Take it slow, and don't forget to check your surroundings from time to time. We can meet up again at the other end of the tunnel. I like how Kryle's like, oh man, I never knew this was here. It's like there's a path leading directly to it. have to go around this way. Oh, ignoring you. Morning, Ulu. How's it going? I'm about to hop off. I want to get to the next Aetheryte. The Mineshaft was infested with mithril caps. Some sort of research project, I wonder? I suppose they are a most unusual creature. Why did they develop such long limbs when all they do is shuffle about in narrow tunnels? I was being so careful, I swear the slopes were steeper than I thought, and I lost my footing for a moment. That's all. I'm not injured, if you don't count my pride. Did you know Kryla almost took a tumble back there? She can't possibly still be dizzy from the lift. Okay. Everyone seems to have made it through without incident, nothing of consequence at least, and as promised, the tunnel has delivered us to the medial circuit. As I recall, this tier's where they keep a wide variety of samples for agricultural production. If Aaronville's assumptions hold true that specimens are being collected in preparation for a great migration, then we should see evidence of such plans in this area's projects. Let us follow the path for the nearest farming facility and we'll find what we can see. Will I be able to get to the Aetheryte? I want to get to the Aetheryte before I clock off. Before I clock off. Log off and clock in to work. Oh, go away. Now I know where we are. This is Meryl Ergonomics. Labyrinthos is host to a wide variety of vegetation, which allows us to conduct surveys on cultivation methods used in foreign lands. And this facility, this is the facility which coordinates the overseas efforts. The fruits of their research go to feed their Labyrinthos colleagues, or so I hear. A more notable success than I might make it to the Agora. More notable successes might make it to the Agora. Food's so exotic, you'd be hard-pressed to guess their origin, let alone how they might taste. Indeed, mystery vegetables without a name, only a list of nutritional benefits scribbled on a card. I see no gleaners hereabouts, yet these workers seem to share that same sense of urgency. It is possible that they know something of the Forum's plans and their underlying motivations. Worth looking into, wouldn't you say? Let's see what you can coax out from the workers. The rest of us will do the same, or cast about for useful clues. Okay, let's just see. Ah, shit. Ah, shit. How do I get out of here? Okay, like that. Is there no way to get to the aetheryte down there? If I go over here and reveal this bit of the map, will it tell me? Okay. You're fishing. It's a long ways down to fish. Okay, in that case, let's just, is it under others? Yeah. Let's get out of here. Following... Who do we want to toss things to? Let's see. There are some cute looking VTubers playing Final Fantasy, but most of them are Japanese. Vakin's playing 14 and he's doing Omega, so we're gonna head on over there because I live for the sexual tension between Sid and Nero. So we're gonna go raid this fella. If you're on YouTube, it's twitch.tv/Vakin. Raid message you found the missing persons. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'll try and be live tomorrow. The start of this week, sleeping in has felt great. My bed, wonderful. Don't ever want to leave it. But hopefully I should be live tomorrow. And then this weekend I'm going to be in LA for Pokemon Go Tour. I don't know if I'm going to stream it or not. I kind of want to, but I don't know if I will. But we'll see. Until next time though, I'll be seeing you guys later.